This is finding Flocus. And in finding Flocus, it's just me having, conversations with people about their passions and their pursuits and, I don't know, their process, I suppose, as they try to get some form of, perfection. But sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you just gotta go through so much to get your focus. You just gotta climb all kind of things and go around all kind of. It's something I always used to do. I always used to talk to people, like people I just come upon. I always found like they had interesting stories and interesting things to say. The the most quote unquote average of people to me is the most interesting because they got stories that they never even talk about. They got things they never even say. Like me, I got a story about being bit by a monkey. Like that's always strange for somebody. Everybody got like one or two stories that just super interesting that never happened to nobody else on earth ever. Circumstances. Oh, flocus is a word I came up with when I noticed that balance was a problem. I noticed that when I did decide to focus, it was only for short spurts. And it was very, very intense. And it was very monodirectional in my approach. And then I also decided that I realized that when I decided I would flow, the flow was very chaotic and sporadic and contrasting. And I noticed that if I could combine these two energies that I seem to possess, these two X and Y axis energies, I could succeed in whatever I wanted to do. And I realized the times when I was best or most able to, combine the flow and the focus of what I was doing, it always reaped good results. I used to play a lot of basketball, and practice was always way more stressful. Even though this is obvious, it was way more stressful than playing around. When we used to play around, it was fun. Like I could do all things. It was always play. And then when I would practice, it's almost like I would lose me. I would lose myself in the focus. I would lose all flow in the focus of doing it. Same thing with cricket. When I play with my friends, have fun and you're loose. But when you're especially playing a match, I used to get so tight. And I used to get a lot of cramps, and that's because I wasn't breathing and I wasn't stretching and I wasn't loose enough. I developed this spine that was just so tight and cryptic. And I knew that a big part of my journey as an artist was to find a way to bend and manipulate and move and roam and hone all of these attributes of myself. In 2015, I was going to a party, and regular thing is a party, so you pregame, especially if it's a big party. Ironically, if it's a party that you can drink more, it's like you drink more before. So it's a big party that you can drink a lot more than normal. So you drink a lot more than normal before to pregame for the party and get hype. And so I all I can remember was on wine. I was on wine from about at least 4 or 5 in the evening. I had already had wine and I think maybe some beers. I don't think I had anything strong. And the party wasn't really starting till about midnight. And it's a drinks free party. And as Fat Boy Neil goes, anything that free, I get lavish in it. And I probably did. I don't remember a lot about that night, other than the wine and then the wait. It was a long wait because the party had a shuttle service. Let's call it that. Had a shuttle service, and it was very inefficient. I remember that. And I remember getting to the party and seeing the grandeur of the location and the locale. It was like in a quarry. So it's like just earth surrounding you. It's like in the middle of nowhere. Such a beautiful location. And then I guess I remember trying to jot down the world or I don't know, I guess a party, but I don't feel like it was my most I don't remember. I may have had frustration. I don't feel like it was my most successful outing. I feel like I had like bottled up frustration. When I frustrated, sometimes I drink more to get through it. But I don't know. Hmm. Next thing I remember was leaving for the party, and I had to drop home. I had to drop home two friends, and the next thing I remember was being told, Neil, you could slow down. But one of my logics of what I used to do was, especially as if there's no radio, adrenaline is what can keep you up. So sometimes I would drive faster if I'm tired, as opposed to pulling over, which of course is dumb. But you do it 1, 2, 12, 20 times, it becomes a kind of way of doing things. And I didn't slow down. I had this. Yeah, I was gunning. I was near home, and the next thing I remember was the sound of the tire bursting and slamming into the median, the thing that's separating the two lanes, and me trying to brake or stop the velocity of the vehicle, and me being out of control and feeling like, why isn't brakes working? And I think I remember not really pressing down on the brakes hard because I know you don't want to freak out the car and you don't want to stop and roll basically. Like if you do handbrake, you could roll if you're moving at that space. So I remember just braking and not really getting any feedback. But it's happening so fast between the first hit and then the brake, and then the car was in the cut rock. And the next thing I remember is like tap, 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 like trying to tap the brake, tap, tap, tap. And I remember just violence. Violence. It was the second set of violence I had felt. The first was being awoken to the right tire hitting into the median. And I signed that I still feel that first violence in my body to this day. If I'm being driven, which I usually am now, if I'm being driven, when a car comes close to a curb or comes close to another car, my body, like that part of my body, still feels it. Um, it's not as bad, but it's still there. This is this is 5 years later. Well, this is 2015. So yeah, 5 years later, and I still feel that. But the second violence was I don't think I felt pain. I felt like thrusting, like inertia, and then stoppage, like buh. And what had happened was I had hit my left eye on the rear view mirror. And the rear view mirror of the car had stopped me from flying through the window. Um, Even though I looked at a picture recently of the car, and I remember seeing like there's an impact on the windshield, and I don't know. I was wondering, did it really stop me, or did it kind of help me from not going as fast into the windshield? Did my head indeed hit into the windshield, or did I don't know, or did the rear view mirror hit the windshield and cause that impact? I don't know. What I know, ants. Uh, what I know is that the next thing I remember is checking to see if my girlfriend at the time was okay. And I remember being very calm. Like after the violence, life felt so peaceful and quiet. But I knew that there was something to do. I had to know if she was okay. And somehow I felt like we had to get out of this and get away from this thing that has happened. Also, I was very concerned because I hit into cut route on the left. She's in the passenger seat on the left. So I'm concerned for her, very concerned. I don't remember feeling fear, but there was a clarity, there was a peace. Maybe it's a weird kind of adrenaline where, like, I don't remember feeling my heart beating, but how much do you really remember? I just remember looking at her and calmly, I was like, you all right? Even though in my head, it's probably calm, but it's probably, you all right? It's probably me freaking out. But I remember it being so much more quieter than the two previous violence. And she looking at me with fear. And my instinct was to help her to relax. And we got out my side of the car. I helped her out. And it felt like people were there too soon. It felt like this thing had just happened and like people had stopped. It's interesting. I wonder if I blacked out for any moment. But I feel like it was all immediate. But yeah, I feel like people had stopped and somebody was helping me. I remember somebody telling me I got glass on my face. I remember police was there. And I remember he getting a call about an accident. Hearing that call, and I think somebody had just hit into a wall. Something like that. And I remember a man saying, you got glass on your face. And he gave me a bottle of water. It's so weird how somebody got a random bottle of water. But I remember just washing my face and doing this. And the feeling of glass in your face where you don't know where it is and you're just wiping glass off your face is weird. It's like you don't want to touch it too hard because you don't want to push more glass into your face, but it's weird to be able to do it and see glass come off your face and drop, shattered glass drop on the ground and kind of feel your face. And I got into an ambulance, and the big thing was getting the glass out, and I guess me getting touch up. And the next thing I remember is being in the hospital, meaning like getting looked at by a doctor. And the next thing I remember is she basically saying she should probably wait till Monday. I think it was a Sunday morning. She might want to wait till the ophthalmologist, ophthalmologist, optician, I don't know. She she should wait till the eye guy come. And when the eye guy come, he could probably deal with me. Cause she don't want, like, she feel like my cut is too close to my eye for her to even play with it. She was unsure, and remember she asking somebody and getting a second opinion, getting a third opinion, and then the opinions didn't really give her an answer. So she had to make a call, and she decided she can try. A word that's a reoccurring story in my eye journey. She said she could try, and she stitched it up. And when she was done, um, she took a picture. And I think she took a picture and showed me. I don't know. She was very proud of it. And I remember people coming to look. I remember being like out of it. I guess I was, I don't know, but I feel like I wasn't there. And then I think I remember my uncle came, my uncle Philip. He was there. Oh. And I think I remember, I don't know how he got there. Terry was there. Big up Terry. Terry just told me he expecting a daughter tomorrow or Sunday. That's amazing. Terry's one of my best friends from primary school, but Terry was there because Terry, I don't even know how, I guess my uncle dropped home Shakira. But Terry dropped me and we went back to the car. I gotta ask Terry what he remember from that though. We went back to the car and got some stuff. And yeah, that's that. You know? And from then I got this that same summer because I got a chance to go to Haiti to represent Barbados. And I found this. And it had a black ball on it. It was very unique looking. And in my rehearsal, in my first play in 2015, Ratoon, usually I try to take even rehearsals very seriously in terms of process and rituals that you might do to get your head and body and mind and spirit ready. And I used to always take this off. I wear it here, I'll take it off when I come into the space. And on one rehearsal, I didn't take it off. And I remember rolling on the ground and it broke. The black ball broke into 3. And from then, for me, that became an instant lesson of just not playing around too much, not putting your foot to the pedal to the metal, whatever they say, but being always focused, but still having fun. Don't lose the fun. And I think around that time is when I start playing with this word Flocus. Yeah. So finding Flocus, fast forward 5 years, finding Flocus is interesting. So that's what finding Flocus is. Like, you could go through a lot and not talk about it. And I think so much other people's stories have been told. All of we watch so much content from North America, especially. We've seen Times Square 100 million different times in 100 million different ways. We've seen yellow taxis so many ways. We've seen the Hollywood sign. We've seen the Eiffel Tower. We even see the pyramids in Egypt. But we never really see a small town in Ghana that we great grandfather could have come from. And them is the stories I want to tell, because when it's all done in 100 years, the history books, will it remember a Miss Lou? Will it remember a Dinky Minnie? Will it remember John Canoe? Will it remember certain cultural things when the culture then get washed away? Because most of us consume Netflix from North America. Most of us consume pop music from North America, or rap from North America, or fashion from North America. Maybe we consume some fashion from Europe, but a lot of things that is ours, we take it in when it's Jamaica Day, or we take it in when it's like Independence, or when it's a specific season. We don't value, we know this, we don't value our own things as much. We don't value our own stories. So just by having a camera, having a mic, and having ability, I just felt kind of indebted to help people get out their stories, and also listen to people and learn from people, because people got a lot to teach you and a lot to share. So it's kind of important, and it could be that this is something that helps a lot of people, or this could be something that helps one person. Because for me coming up, I think everybody had that moment when you don't know where you want to be. And everybody had that moment where you know where you want to be, but you don't feel like you know how to be it. So you got a thing you want to be in life, and you got a person that you may see doing it, but you don't really know how they get there. They tell you do well in school, read your books, eat your vegetables, brush your teeth, pray every day. But that don't really give you specific pathways or guidelines in achieving certain things, especially jobs in the non-traditional sector. Jobs like photography, and jobs like DJing, jobs like acting and dancing. Like, you got a lot of people at the top of the ladder that we could look at as success stories, but their story might not relate to ours, because if a man born in LA or a man born in New York, he already got advantage, no matter what nobody say. We all born equal, but some people born positionally more equal than others. Or if a man born with a supportive family that willing to pay for him to get equipment, or willing to pay for him to get schooling, that's a different thing than a man that has no support backing and wants to do a thing. And in many ways, the things are still possible, but ignorance is a powerful thing. And in the age of technology, ignorance really is a choice. We could Google anything and see it in 0.00501 seconds. Anything, we could see it, we could watch it, we could listen to it. Anything, any piece of knowledge is, if it's true, and how we able to, boil down that knowledge and get the path that we need. And maybe these conversations could be that knowledge for somebody. Maybe a 10-year-old boy who don't know how to relate to women could get a conversation started from hearing me talk about how much I used to be confused with women myself, and how when I was a boy, you used to listen to Cartel, and you used to feel like you had to suck in your cheeks so your jawbones and your cheekbones that hard, and you used to walk with a bop and wear your pants low. You used to play sports, and you used to have all the brand name, and you used to talk. Like, all now, my voice, when I was probably 12, 13, I probably used to talk a little deeper. Because when you're a man, you talk a little deeper, you talk a little rougher. All them things that you just learn to do, or you think is the way to do it. But sometimes that's not the way. My only influences was like rap videos and dancehall music videos. So when I see a man with 40 women in a video pouring alcohol on her behind and flicking cash in the air, whether or not I believe that true, that's somewhere in my mind that's a kind of goal. Somewhere in my mind, having a big house and a car and on a hill is a kind of goal, whether I want to accept it or not. So I might choose not to accept it, but it's somewhere in my mind. I watch and consume so much in many ways nonsense. That you got like an action hero, and you got all these random men coming up to he to punch him. All them coming with right hooks, and he's ducked the right hook, and then he's cuffed them in the ribs, and then he's kicked them in the face, then he shoot them in the eye, and then after he killed like 70 men for his cause that he believes is just, he's get the pretty blonde woman and them just ride off in a convertible or in a white horse, and you know, we could start to believe that that's the way. Or we see a man is a bad man and he sell dope and he make money and he doing well. We could see that's the way, but you got many ways to do many things. So finding Flocus is really trying to talk to as diverse amount of people as possible. Trying to always remember that everybody's interested in their own way. Trying to always remember that everybody deserves to be heard. Because we know children aren't really heard, but we forget that a lot of adults not really heard. A lot of adults don't get a chance and an opportunity to really talk to nobody. We don't really have extended conversations anymore with people. We have like very brief conversations, and then maybe 3 or 4 people in our life we might have an extended conversation with. So having these conversations is good for me as well. So can't hate on it. It's me trying a thing. It's me having a thing to do a thing, so you do a thing. So I hope that people enjoy the thing. I hope that people are honest with a critique about the thing. And I hope that people share the thing. All that like and subscribe thing, all that's well and good, but just tell a friend. Have a conversation about it. That will mean so much more to me than you sharing it on a social media platform. A physical, face-to-face conversation about just some of the issues that might come up, some of the jokes that might come up, even if it's to laugh at me. So give thanks.